Hello guys, Computer Fanboy here, and today I'm going to be talking about the topic of Macs don't freeze. So anyways, this portion of the video is really coming from a Windows user here, and I am a huge Windows user here, and why would I lie to you guys? Macs do crash. They, in fact, crash quite a bit sometimes. I have noticed, though, and I'm trying to use my words carefully, by the way, that's why I'm carefully thinking about it and trying to prevent the word from occurring, but that under Windows, I kind of see more unexpected crashes, and this is coming from a Windows person here, and I still use Windows. I really do like my gaming computer. However, this happens in both computers. They kind of quit. As far as the blue screen of death, anyways, they kind of happen unexpectedly under Windows. Macs, you kind of can guess it when it's going to not respond. Definitely, it's not odd when you see something not respond under Mac, especially because you know it's already happening. By the way, if you guys are curious, this is Ubuntu Linux, which you can't see. I'm going to drag this over to the main screen anyways. Pretty cool looking anyways. Drag that back to there. So, yeah, they do crash, and they're kind of expected. Under Windows, though, however, sometimes when I'm using Windows, it kind of just does it unexpectedly. Like if I leave my computer on overnight or listen to music to make me basically fall asleep, it just crashes randomly sometimes, and it just gets stuck. Mac, at least you can tell when it's about to crash. Now, there's not much that you can do with it. You have a machine that's about to crash. I mean, I've been through this thing for about a year now. I've tried to avoid using the word but anyways, this is the 2009 MacBook Pro 13-inch, which is pretty decent actually. I really do like this machine. However, you know how they make fun of Windows users for saying, oh, they have a Control-Delete. Well, Macs is not really Control-Delete, but it's a three-finger salute, by the way. It is. Alt-Command-Escape. Or technically two, I use both of these for that. But yeah, Alt-Command-Escape, and that brings up my force quit applications. If an application doesn't respond, doesn't respond for a while? Well, I've definitely had it happen. Now, what's interestingly enough, is I see this video of a YouTuber, and Macs don't crash if I type that in. And see here. This is interesting because this is Chris's video, and it kind of.
You know, I have been loving Mac
talking
OS
about how
10.
great it is.
Just such.
All right, now watch. Now, what's interesting about this is the typical screen that you see. You need to restart your computer, hold down the power button for several seconds. I think this was planned. However, to be honest, this hasn't happened to me too much. My first time, it was just once that it said you need to do this, and that was pretty interesting to see that. So it's kind of like the blue screen of death for Mac. And as far as being Windows or Mac oriented, I use both, so it doesn't surprise me. I knew what I was getting. I knew that I was getting a computer that could not respond sometimes. Like, what really, really ticked me off was when I was in Pages, and it was kind of my fault to begin with. But if you guys don't know, Pages is like Word. I really should have used AbiWord, but Pages works pretty well most of the time. However, it froze on me, and I was waiting forever. I thought, you know, like basically, I thought it wouldn't freeze. Obviously, I was wrong in some ways because I gave credit to Apple for doing some of their stuff correctly. However, you know, when you're using Macs and you kind of pay for an application that's made by Apple, you expect it to be working most of the time. Well, this kind of works most of the time. However, what also made me think differently is because third-party applications, people, especially on Windows too, you know, the thing about Windows is it's being so bogged down by third-party applications that it could be Windows partially, and it could also be the programmers who programmed this application, or it could be the application that they use to make the application, if you guys want to get that. Like, it could be VB in some way, or some manner. However, under both operating systems, they both freeze. And under any operating system, they freeze. Under Linux, they freeze plenty of times, as well as Windows and Mac. So all operating systems freeze. And by the way, that's a really, really, really cool screensaver I have from the Matrix on my Linux, by the way. So it's really unique to see how the advertising tries to brainwash people and say, okay, they never crash, and then they show these advertisements to make people want to buy it. It's smart, but it's kind of better than the Windows ads, in my opinion. But this is coming from not a fanboy by any means. My name is Computer Fanboy. However, that's only implying that I like all operating systems, not just PCs, Macs, or Linux. And I'm just interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. I mean, I've had Macs freeze on me before, and it kind of drives me nuts, as well as Windows, which really kind of drives me nuts as well. I'm not two-sided here. Well, I am two-sided here. What am I saying? I like both operating systems. I'm not I'm trying to avoid using the words like, but it's not working out. Anyways, I'm not really one operating system. I'm a bunch of operating systems. I'm a Mac, I'm a PC, I'm a Linux. I love all operating systems. And by the way, operating systems could be the Nintendo Wii, the iPhone, because it's what runs the it's what runs the hardware. So even firmware. Firmware technically runs the hardware, so you could call that an operating system. It wouldn't be correct, 100%, or the Xbox operating system, which I love for my 360 games. So I'm not really Mac, Windows, or Linux oriented in the fact that they all crash. They're all computers. What do you think? It's going to work 100%? That would be rather impossible. That would mean the operating system has to be awesome, just complete. And some people can argue that Macintosh OS X is actually OS X is actually a good operating system, and I would say it's a good operating system, but it's not great. It has issues like it has on Windows. I've had to force quit programs quite a bit, actually, and so is Windows. Windows definitely has, maybe I wouldn't even say more or less. I'm kind of trying to just not be a fanboy of one or another. I like both of them, but they both have issues. And although I do like the hardware on Macs because of the custom aluminum stuff, I do like the look of that. But that doesn't change what the operating system is. It's Leopard, it's Snow Leopard, it's what it is. And as far as being a fanboy of that, I can't really do that. I like it. I'm not a fanboy who's always for Apple. I'm not a fanboy who's for Windows or Linux. I just happen to like operating systems. So anyways, that's my rant today, and hopefully you'll find this interesting and put some comments about what I think. And I can't really prove that Snow Leopard is going to crash on me, because really, and all the truth is, it could be random. However, one thing I haven't noticed was I haven't had a crash overnight, which I'm kind of thankful for. Like, have it say you need to restart your computer, like other users have had where the sound has freezed. And as far as Windows goes, I love Windows, I love Mac, and I love pretty much all operating systems, like I said. So if you guys like what I said, definitely subscribe and add comments to what you think. I'll be doing some more videos as well. And if you need help with Mac, Windows, and some basic Linux stuff, I will be available to help. I am pretty much available all this week, and next week, well, this week is the end, Sunday, but anyways, next week I'll be available most of the time, so I don't be surprised if I do a video, like, response to a question or a comment. So if you guys have any questions or comments on how to do certain stuff, I usually respond. And by the way, there's this user who's asking me how to get fences, which I can't really show you because Windows isn't running, but it's a better way to organize your desktop. I will be doing that for him as well. If you look in my video page, you can actually see that video already up. So if you guys need help with anything, like I said, just post me a comment and I'll probably respond and help you guys out. So thank you guys for watching this video. I'm